all you movie fans out there, this is Matt Jarbo back, not back, I can't say I'm back, because this is my very first podcast for Total Running Time, which is a fun little extension of Two Buck Theater, a Facebook fan page that I run that gives you daily movie news, reviews, information, great questions, commentary, and just great place to go on Facebook for getting all the new information that you don't know about Hollywood and movies. No celebrity gossip though, because that's not what we do. We prefer keeping it a little bit more straightforward and not as crazy. So this is a new little side project for 2011. As of course, it's January 3rd, and you guys are going to be getting your hands on my review of True Grit. And as you guys know, the Coens release new films every single year. They've been on this new kick, which is great. So we've got, a couple years ago with No Country for Old Men. That was got a love it or hate it ending, but like the first 80% is amazing. Then you've got the Burn After Reading, which is fun. It's funny, it's crazy funny, which we'll probably do we'll probably go through all the Coen brother films on here eventually. And then, A Serious Man, which is kind of a funny, dark comedy. And then you come to, I believe, their first remake, which is, or reimagining, so to speak, would be True Grit, which is the story of a 14-year-old girl who hires a drunkard deputy marshal to take down the guy who killed her dad. Pretty straightforward revenge story. The book was originally written by Charles Portis, and it was made into a film in 1969 starring John Wayne, which is the one that I think everyone really is comparing it to. I think that based on what I've read and what I've seen, that the Coens really wanted to go more towards the book and not, John Wayne's interpretation of the character of Cogburn. So let's get into the storyline. Now, this will contain severe spoilers as we go through the plot. In fact, I'm going to go through the entire plot of the film based on their Wikipedia entry, and that's actually going to set the standard for the podcast. So if you guys haven't, check back for like the last, I don't know, maybe like 2 minutes of the podcast, and you'll get like just a good review of it. Sorry if you get spoiled, but I did warn you. So, okay, here we go. The plot of True Grit is as followed. The film is narrated by Maddie Ross, who explains that her father was murdered by one of his hired hands, Tom Chaney, when she was 14. Chaney made off with one of her father's horses and 2 of his California gold pieces. While collecting her father's body, Maddie inquires about a deputy U.S. Marshal to hire to track down Chaney. She's given 3 recommendations, but chooses to hire Rooster Cogburn because he is described as the most merciless. He repeatedly rebuffs her attempt to hire him. Meanwhile, at the boarding house where she is staying, Texas Ranger LeBeef, or LeBeef, as they call him, arrives on the trail of Chaney. LeBeef has been pursuing him for several months over a murder in Texas. He proposes to Maddie that they should team up with Cogburn, since the marshal knows the Choctaw terrain where Chaney is hiding, while LeBeef knows how the man is most likely to behave. Maddie rejects LeBeef's offer, partially because he would take Chaney back to Texas to be hanged for a prior murder instead of her father's. After securing Cogburn's services, Maddie is instructed to meet him the following morning to begin the search for Chaney. Instead of meeting her, Cogburn leaves her a note telling her to go home, while he goes to apprehend Chaney. Maddie catches up with Cogburn and LeBeef after forging a river on her horse. The 2 have teamed up to agree to split the reward for Chaney. Accusing him of fraud, Maddie threatens to have Cogburn arrested for breaking their agreement, which specified that she must accompany him on the manhunt. Reluctantly, he allows Maddie to come along. After a disagreement, LeBeef sets off on his own search of Chaney. Eventually, Maddie and Cogburn come across an isolated shack where 2 outlaws are staying. After the outlaws turn on each other, Cogburn kills the older outlaw, and as the younger one is dying, he explains that Lucky Ned Pepper and his gang are planning on returning to the shack later that night. Believing Chaney to be riding with Pepper's gang, Cogburn and Maddie lie in wait for the gang to arrive. However, LeBeef shows up to the shack instead of the gang, and when the gang arrives, they lasso LeBeef and drag him behind the horse. Cogburn opens fire from his hiding spot. He kills several members of the gang, but wounds LeBeef in the process. During the night, Cogburn drinks a great deal of whiskey and is severely drunk the next morning. That following night, he and LeBeef argue again, and LeBeef departs once more. The next morning, Maddie draws water she draws water at a nearby river, and she encounters Cheney, who is watering the gang's horses. She draws her father's pistol and shoots him. The pistol misfires as she tries to finish him off, and he drags her back to the gang. Ned uses Maddie as a hostage to get Cogburn to ride off. Ned leaves Maddie with Cheney, ordering him not to kill her, and he plans to send a horseback for Cheney later in the day, once the gang has reached a new hideout. Once alone, Cheney attacks Maddie. LaBeef knocks Cheney out with his rifle butt, and explains that he heard the shots in the morning, he rode back, and encountered Cogburn, who hatched a plan. LaBeef and Maddie watch from their perch as Cogburn takes on the 4 surviving members of Ned's gang. He kills 3 of them and mortally wounds Ned before his horse is shot out from under him. As the dying Ned is about to kill Cogburn, LaBeef fires his rifle and kills Ned. Cheney comes to and attacks LaBeef. Maddie grabs LaBeef's rifle and kills Cheney, but the recoil knocks her back into a snake-filled chasm. She is bitten before Cogburn can rescue her. Cogburn and Maddie leave the wounded LaBeef at the chasm, and Cogburn rides for the night to get Maddie to a doctor, arriving just in time. Fast forward 25 years, Maddie, now 39 and only with one arm due to amputation necessitated by the snake bite, receives an invitation from Cogburn to meet him at the Traveling Wild West show, which he is performing. When she arrives at the site, she learns that Cogburn died 3 days earlier, and she has his body moved to her family plot. The film ends with her standing over his grave and pondering how time catches up with everyone. And that's the movie. That's True Grit. It's very straightforward. It's not Cohen-esque. It doesn't throw a giant twist, your way at the end. It's definitely not like, Shyamalan, with the twist. But it's cool. It's great. The cinematography is amazing. The pacing, the style, the beauty of the film, really sucks you in. Bridges is undiscernible. You can't see that it's Bridges. Except for one shot that's in the trailer, you can see that it's kind of Lebowski. He has like a Lebowski look about him. When he's sitting on his bed and his head's tilted to one side, and he looks very Lebowski. But that shot wasn't in the film, and I think they removed that because they felt that it was maybe too much like their other film with him back over 10 years ago. Like 15 years ago. And so they got rid of that, and then there's like another shot from the trailer that they cut out with him holding Maddie later on. But the real star of the film, really, and the real lead of the film, and this is what I call bullshit with the SAG giving Hallie Steinfield only a Best Supporting Actress nod when she really deserves a Best Actress nod, goes to Maddie Ross, Hallie Steinfield. The girl was brilliant in her role. She spoke with determination, with gusto. She knew what she wanted, and you wanted to see her character really succeed because she had this determination that I think usurps so many people these days. And she just went for what she wanted. She made sure she got what she wanted, and if she felt like she was being screwed over because she was 14 and a woman in early 1900, it's like late 1800, America or Arkansas, then she's putting her foot down and going like, screw you, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to get. And it causes a lot of disruption between Matt Damon and Bridges. And Matt Damon did a great job. I always love Matt Damon. Everyone always goes, Matt Damon. They make fun of the guy, but really, he's a very talented actor. He brought a lot to the movie, and just they had fun. The violence it's not too violent. Like, there are some scenes. The scene in the shack is pretty crazy. And then, like, the hanging scene's pretty crazy. You see that in the trailer. And then, it's not, like, super violent, but it's there. It's there when it's needed to be, and it's not over the top. It's not, like, a lot of extra blood. It's not, like, a lot of mutilation. It's not, it's not Fargo, right? So, and there's very little swearing. It's mostly just a lot of back and forth. Which is why I got us PG-13 rating. However, I thought the violence level might have been R rating worthy. But hey, MPAA gave it to them. Gave it a PG-13. So there we go. I love the movie. I really do. I think it's great. I'm going to go see it again before it leaves theaters, and then buying it when it comes out on Blu-ray, and then hoping to see that this movie really gets the attention that it deserves. And it came in number 2 at the box office over the Christmas weekend. I do believe that it should have been number 1 because Little Fockers is, well, we'll review it on here later on. And so, okay, that's it for this week here on Total Running Time. You guys can always check us out more episodes on every Monday and Friday. So check back Friday for Superbad, And remember, this episode is brought to you by scriptsnotes.com, which is a great website for filmmakers looking to make a movie but they don't have a script. You can get a bunch of great short films, like low-budget short films that can be shot over the course of a weekend, and also custom screenplays tailored to your liking. Check that out at www.scriptsnotes.com, as well as Monsters vs. Monsters, which is a brand new card game for kids. It's a low-cost alternative to high-cost entertainment. Check that out at monstersvsmonsters.com. And the decks only cost like $10, so it's really cheap. It's a great gift for kids. I love it. All right, guys, we'll see you back on Friday with another episode of Total Running Time. I'm Matt Jarbo for 2 Buck Theater, and that is 2 Buck Theater, facebook.com/2 Buck Theater. We'll see you guys later. Bye. We'll see you guys later. Bye.